We can't bully ourselves into progress. If that worked, I would have gotten a lot more done over the last 30 years, but it hasn't worked. And for a long time, I didn't understand why. Growing up, discipline meant punishment, either verbal or physical. I grew up in a spare the rod, spoil the child kind of family, and the rod was not spared, and neither was the shaming language. The idea of discipline being synonymous with punishment was not unique to my family. We often think that yelling at ourselves or our kids will shame us into action. That old voice, inside myself, you probably have it too, the one that isn't very nice, that says, "What's wrong with you? Just do it. Why are you so lazy?" I needed a new voice, a gentler one, a wiser one that actually worked. I learned that discipline means to teach, not to punish, to teach, to guide. So that is the mindset I am taking into parenting, both my children and myself. So my self-discipline isn't rooted in punishing myself. It is rooted in learning. I am gently guiding myself, not with shame, but with kindness. It's not about forcing myself through. It's about noticing what works, what helps, and doing more of that. I've learned a lot through this process, and now I want to share some of those lessons with you. That way, we can all practice smarter and kinder self-discipline. So this video is for anyone who feels behind, who feels like they've slipped. Maybe you just had a baby, maybe you've been sick, maybe you just haven't felt motivated and you've fallen behind and you haven't been doing those things that you feel you ought to do. I find that falling behind is such a common place for the shame because there's that feeling of not again. Really? I'm going to go through this again? I thought I learned those things. Why am I failing again? And I want to address that returning so that we can all return back to those more ideal practices in a kinder way. For me, the reason this video is applicable right now is I just got home from a wonderful 1-month-long trip with my family and my husband's family. And it was really enjoyable, but I did get sick at the end, and traveling threw off my routines. I had high hopes of going into the trip with certain systems and keeping my habits and routines, but schedules just got weird, and like I said, I got sick, and so I fell behind. So coming home, I felt like I had a long way to go, a lot of habits to catch back up on, a lot of actions to do. It has actually taken me 3 weeks to even record this video because I had a lot of things to reclaim. And I didn't want to record this video before I was truly ready, before I had truly returned, so that I could accurately share it with you. So today I'm going to share 7 mindset shifts and 3 tangible actions that will help us regain momentum. And we are going to focus on the mindset shifts because that is where the magic happens. So let me introduce myself. Hi, I am A. Rose. And yes, that is really my name. I make videos about gentle personal growth, reparenting, mindset, and slow living, particularly in the context of motherhood and taking care of a household. This channel is all about learning and growing as I go and sharing some of those lessons with you. Before I begin, I want to talk about who this video really applies to. So under stress, there's often 2 main responses. I'm sure there's more, but for the sake of this video and this idea, let's talk about the 2 main responses. Under stress, some people overfunction, so they go into achieve it all mode, they do everything, they even take jobs from other people, they just really go get it done. Well, there's also underfunctioners. There's the people that under a lot of stress freeze up, kind of need direction, don't know what to do, and don't do anything. And I did hear about this idea from Dr. Brene Brown. I don't know if she's the one who did the research. She was just the one who I first heard this idea from and really resonated with me because, hi, I am an underfunctioner. And honestly, if you are scrolling YouTube trying to find motivation when you are in a season of returning and need kind of extra help to get going, you might be an underfunctioner too. No shame in it. We just have to learn based on that tendency what to do when we're under a lot of stress and under functioning. Also, one more disclaimer. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to spend a lot of time qualifying every statement I make, but I do want to mention that I understand that there's so many different perspectives and so many different personality types. And if I talk in this video as if this is like the one truth, that is never what I mean to do. I really strongly believe that there's not one truth for everybody. I am recording it with more definitive statements because I would like to keep the points clear, and hopefully something I say will resonate with you and help you live just a little bit easier. So let's get into it. Part 1, mindset shifts. Number 1, I want you to talk to yourself like you talk to your children. And I guess this is assuming you talk nicely to your children. But I do think a lot of us, either to our own children, or if you don't have children, maybe other kids, we are a little bit more sensitive about what we say because we recognize how much we are shaping a little human. So I know for me, when I'm with my daughter, I am very careful what I say. I have said the wrong things. I've said, "What's wrong with you?" But then I stop. I'm like, no. It's not what's wrong with you. It's just what's wrong. And little moments like this, I catch it a lot easier with my children because it's new and it's a pattern I'm breaking. For me, my children are 2 and under. So I have 2 children, 2-year-old and a 4-month-old. So it's still pretty new to me and I'm still developing my parenting. And so I think sometimes we have to break the cycle of how we talk to ourselves and thinking about, would I say this to my child when you catch yourself being mean is a good way to stop. Would I want this to be the internal voice of a child? Something to note, all children are different. All parenting methods are different. We can't teach every child in the exact same way, which is also how we need to treat ourselves. Don't just take the advice of one person and think it's going to work. For you, it's not one size fits all. You try it. If it doesn't work, you move on and try something else, just like you would with a child, because you're having to slowly learn what works for you, just like you learn what works for a child. I know with Miriam, in the very beginning, I was quick to correct, so say she pulled out a bunch of toys. I was quick to be like, no, don't pull out all those toys, and get on to her and say, put them away. And it didn't work. And I had to try multiple methods. I had to put away some toys. I had to use the right kind of reinforcement when she did help. It was all a slow learning process. And I think we have to do that with ourselves. But with a big focus also on not being mean. That rooster is really loving our video and wants to join. I'm sure, I know this helps with some background noise, but I'm sure he's going to be showing up in here. Right. Next mindset shift is realizing it's not an emergency. A lot of the anxiety that comes around all the tasks to do has to do with that underlying assumption that it has to all get done, and it's an emergency, like that panic mode of like, oh my goodness, I've got to unload the RV and I've got to take care of the baby right now. He's sad, and I've got to do this laundry. We need more clothes. And it's important to take a step back and realize that it's actually not an emergency. There's a lot of time to do things. I mean, some things get borderline emergency. So, for example, Miriam, more than once, has taken off a poopy diaper and gotten the poo on her clothes. And I had to both wash her and the clothes. And there was that feeling of needing to rinse out the clothes right away so that they wouldn't stay dirty, but also needing to shower her. And there could be that overwhelm of too many things going on. And what I had to realize is that at least part of it wasn't an emergency. Yeah, it was really important to get her showered so she didn't spread the grossness around. But even then, Even then, if she did get it on more things, I could still clean it. Usually nothing is truly an emergency. Even if your husband wants a certain pair of pants washed, and you're the one who does the laundry, it's still not an emergency to get it done because he probably will be understanding if he has to wear a different pair. And honestly, thinking it's an emergency is going to make you do way less. Pausing, breathing, reminding your nervous system, like, we're not in danger, this isn't an emergency, and just taking it slow is going to actually help you wash those pants way more than that spiral of overwhelm that, oh my goodness, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, like 7 things, and feeling like they're all emergencies and overwhelming yourself. And then you freeze because we're underfunctioners, right? If you're still around, you probably are. I mean, maybe not if you're an overfunctioner. Hi, and don't judge me, please, for struggling sometimes. In my previous topic, I said a lot of have to, have to, have to. This is the next point. I want us to reframe have to get to. We don't have to do this. We get to do it. Honestly, if you think about it, there are so many things in life that you feel like you have to do that you don't have to. There's other parents that don't do it. There's other people who don't do it. I mean, you don't have to do almost all the things. You might feel called to, maybe aligned with your principles to do those things, but you don't actually have to. You get to do them. You get to live this life the way you're choosing to live it. You get to be the person that you're choosing to be. So I want us to reframe have to get to. And another part of reframing that is reframing how we say it. So instead of saying, I have to clean the kitchen, say, I get to create a beautiful, peaceful space. Because now you're in the mindset of this is what I'm choosing. This is the life I want to live. And then you're also thinking about what you get to create. You don't just clean the kitchen because that has to be done. You clean the kitchen because there's a benefit of cleaning the kitchen. And that is when it's all done, you take a step back and you're like, wow, it's beautiful and it's peaceful. And I'm so thankful I get to give myself this piece and also my family this piece. So really focus on catching yourself. If you say, I have to do this, stop and pause and maybe realize that you get to. I didn't have to unload the RV. I got to bring all of our things back inside after we got to go on a beautiful trip. Next, I really want us to practice gratitude inside the task. And this kind of goes back to get to idea, like all these things are things we get to do. But there's a lot of gratitude you can have in a task. So say you are cooking, again, the 3rd time in the day, and it's easy to maybe feel overwhelmed. And it's like, yes, once again, I'm trying to figure out how to feed my family. But there's a lot of gratitude to have in that task. There's the gratitude of the food that you get to have. There's the gratitude of the family that you get to care for. There's the gratitude of the time that you have that you get to spend nourishing your family. There's a lot to be thankful for within a task. I mean, even doing laundry, you could be thankful for all the clothes that you have to wear. Gratitude can help us rewire the overwhelm into meaning. It stops us from feeling like this is just the crushing burden, and instead it helps us realize what a beautiful life we're actually living. The next mindset shift is to choose progress over perfection. You've probably heard the term perfectionism. I think it's been thrown around a lot, and it's because so many of us identify as being perfectionists. Sometimes it's easier to focus on trying to do something perfect, and if you feel like you can't do it perfect, you don't do it at all. I remember I first heard about this term in college. My college advisor, after talking to me for really not that long, recognized that I had this trait, and she said, don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. And that has been a statement that's really stuck with me because I do let perfect be the enemy of good. There are times where if things are like too mixed up, I'd almost rather not do anything than to not do it perfectly. Like even loading the dishwasher. I am way too particular about exactly how I place everything into the dishwasher. And I can sometimes choose to not even load the dishwasher instead of not loading it perfectly. I am getting better at this. For example, when I got home, my garden was very overgrown. And if I had thought to myself, okay, I will wait to do this task until I can do it perfectly, until I can fix it all, it would still be overgrown. Instead, every day I would water my garden 15, 30 minutes and do just a few tasks. Tie up a few tomatoes, pull a few weeds. I didn't pull every weed. I still haven't pulled every weed. But each of those individual little actions moved me in the right direction. And that is what I'm focusing on. It's just making little steps, a little bit of progress. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to keep moving forward. Another mindset shift, especially for you mamas, is our babies are not distractions. They are our life. They are what matter most. If you're not a mama, maybe think of the people in your life who you love, your loved ones. The people that need us, especially our children, they're not a burden. They're not a distraction. They're a beautiful, beautiful gift. It is a gift to be needed. And trust me, I know the overwhelm that can be felt from being needed. Like, I know how crushing it can be to have so many people want you, but also what a blessing. How easy is it to reframe our mindset from this is overwhelming, this is too much, to this is such a blessing. I'm so thankful. I have so many people that love me and that need me. Even in the making of this video, I've had to get up and go into the other room and take care of my babies multiple times. I had to pause it and try to jump back in. I sometimes lose my footing, lose my inspiration. Again, we're choosing progress and not perfection, so I'm just trudging through. But my babies, they're not a distraction. And when they need me, I put down what I'm doing and go take care of them. And I want to always remember, and sometimes it's hard because especially when I have goals, like this YouTube channel, I'm excited to do it, but it's another goal that if I cling to it too tightly, if I create too strict of a schedule for myself, like, oh, I have to post every week, I can end up finding other things like my babies to be a burden instead of the beautiful blessing that they are. And I hear my child and I gotta go again. BRB. Just remember that interruptions, they are part of this season, this beautiful season of people needing you, of children relying on you. They're not a sign of failure. So if you struggle to get as much done, if you struggle to do that thing on your to-do list because your kiddos need you, make sure to value what you're doing. Make sure to remember that that is the most important thing. You know, that's what I've had to remind myself multiple times. I'm a girl who loves a planner. I love writing down what I'm supposed to do or not supposed to, what I want to do in the day. And a lot of times I'm not able to do it all. And I have to remind myself that I did what mattered most, which was taking care of my babies. Number 7, and the final mindset shift, is reminding yourself that it's okay to pause and play. Whether that's just jumping on the trampoline with your daughter, like I have done multiple times, or leaving to go see family, or going and taking your kiddos to the playground. It's okay to pause and play. This is life that you're living. You don't want to just work. You have to live it too. And especially with kids, these are such precious years to make memories with them. And it's okay to pause. Sometimes it even helps because when you step away, you can kind of avoid the tunnel vision that you might otherwise have from staying right in front of the task. Like, it helps with some of the other things. It helps remind you that it isn't an emergency. It helps remind you that your kids aren't a distraction, that you can step away from tasks. And so give yourself grace. For the most part, you can wait to do a lot of things. Let's move into some tangible actions. So there's some few things that you can actually do that are gentle actions to keep you moving forward. Number 1, and this is probably no surprise, is to start small. And I'm sure you've heard this a lot, but I want to put it into more than just your to-do list. Yes, I want your to-do list to be small. Like for me, the first day I wrote, it was ridiculous. I wrote, unload RV, weed all the garden. Like, I'm not going to be able to weed all my plants and unload the entire RV. Like, no, there was no way. There was no way with taking care of the kiddos. The following days, as I regained perspective, I had my to-do list be things like unload the pantry of the RV, unload the fridge of the RV, weed around the rose bushes in the circle drive, like very small things. And I think a lot of times people tell you, oh, start small because you're going to trick yourself and keep going. No. That's not the point. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to start small so that we can actually feel the momentum. And we're not going to say, oh, I'm only going to unload the RV for 5 minutes and trick myself into actually unloading it longer. Because when you don't unload it longer, you're going to still feel like you failed. The important thing of starting small is to actually regain confidence and regain trust in yourself and your ability to move forward. And it's not just for your to-do list, it's also for your habits. So maybe you have a bunch of habits that you're trying to do in the day. Maybe it's how you want to wake up. For me, waking up, I know I feel my best when I immediately shower before my coffee. I have lotion, I get ready for the day, then I do my coffee, then I plan my day, and I do my gratitude journal. That is my ideal morning. But sometimes, like when I got back from vacation, I no longer was doing my morning routine. And so I wanted to get back into that. But before vacation, I had like my habits. I have an actual checklist in my planner for my habits, and I had morning routine, strength self-care that had like 3 things underneath it, and like night routine and clean house. I had so many habits that it was just impossible, and I was feeling deflated because I wasn't actually doing all the habits. I wasn't doing pretty much I was doing none of them. So the second week I got home, I took a step back and I only put down 7 habits were the 7 steps of my morning routine. And every day I was able to check those off, and it just really made me regain confidence in myself and regain momentum. The week after, because I had done that every single day, I added back in things like make my bed and take care of my plants for 15 minutes outside. Just little things like that. And those small tasks, I continued to do them, and I regained confidence and trust in myself. So starting small can really do that for you. Start small, both in the habits you want to adopt and in your to-do list. This really ties into the previous point, but it's worth its own category, and that is celebrate microscopic wins. Seriously. I want you to thank yourself. Like for the tiniest things, especially if you find yourself being mean. So back to my example of the dishwasher when I loaded it and I thought to myself, that was so easy. Why didn't you just load it the night before? I'm like, no. Pause. Thank you, Abby. Thank you for taking the time to create this clean space. Every time you do anything, you can give yourself a little thank you. Like, thank you for taking the time to put on lotion. Thank you for showering. Especially, I'm serious, especially if you're in the season where you're struggling to do some of those basic things, you can never give yourself too much praise and celebration. So really celebrate those microscopic wins. You did it. Great job. We're doing it. Yay, we unloaded another basket in the RV. You are moving towards your goals. Yay, you made dinner for your family. You are moving towards your goal of nourishing your family. It all counts, no matter how small. Yay, I didn't put the cup on the counter. I put it in the dishwasher. I'm so proud of you. Also, you could probably tell by my dishwasher metaphors, I struggle with keeping a clean kitchen. So I've got to continually find ways like this to keep myself moving forward and keep building that momentum. That's why there's so many dishwasher metaphors in here. But still, my point remains, no matter what, especially if you find yourself being mean, celebrate what you've done. There's always something you can appreciate about what you are doing, even if you aren't doing as much as you should do. Final tip is doing the things that bother you in the moment. I can fall into this pattern where I think the most important thing to do is unload the RV. And so I'm unloading it and I'm walking over toys. I'm walking over just random, maybe a wad of cat hair, just random stuff. And as I see the stuff, I like point it out. I'm like, oh, I need to do that. Ooh, I need to do that. Ooh, I should pick that up. And sooner or later, literally, it all overwhelms me and it becomes chaotic and I feel overwhelmed because here I've added just in the course of an hour 20 things to the to-do list. And even if I don't even remember that I said that, my brain is keeping the score and my overwhelm is increasing with each additional thing that I think, ooh, I need to do that. So what I do and what helps so much is doing those little things that bother me. When I think, ooh, I should do that, just doing it, especially if it's under 1 minute. This goes to the 1 minute rule. If you haven't heard the 1 minute rule, it's if you can do something in 1 minute or less, do it as soon as you see it. And maybe if something's really bothering you, even if it takes longer than 1 minute, do it. Sometimes it surprises me how quickly I could fix those things that were bothering me. Like picking up the toys on the floor, easy, quick win, and it makes me feel so much better. It drastically decreases like the mental clutter. So next time you see something and you think, oh, I should do that, just do it really quickly. It builds momentum. The task you were working on will wait. I mean, there is also benefits in staying on task, but that's a whole nother point that we're not going to get into. For the sake of this video, I'm saying if you see something really small that you add to your mental to-do list, just do it there and then so that it's not a new task that you have to think about. Thank you for sticking around until the end. If this video helps you be just a little kinder to yourself or take one small action, then it did exactly what I hoped it would. Remember to start small. Do not try to do all 10 of these things. Pick one thing that really resonated with you, really fired you up, and try to implement it just a little bit. You don't need to be more disciplined in the old sense of the word. You don't need more shame. You don't need to berate yourself. You just need to learn those smart little actions that actually help you get a little bit more done. You need love. Self-love, love for all that you have and all you get to do. You need curiosity, figuring out what it is that works for you, and you need to create those gentle rhythms that will help you live the life that you would like. Just a reminder, you're not behind, you're in progress.